Hey, Jesse.
Hello. Happy Friday, Lindsay.
Happy Friday. Yeah.
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 I guess we should probably harmonize that one time. I don't know how to do it. How do you do it? How do you do it? Happy Friday, Lindsay.
Yay.
I don't know. I was trying to meet it. How you doing over there? What you drinking? What are you doing? Tell me about it.
We've got
Let's do
our
this.
little
Holy
breakfast
shit.
drink. We're day drinking, bitches. Okay,
Yeah.
so
it's not even. It's like 9 something.
No, babe, it's 10:35.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
10:25
it feels
a.m.
like 9 something. Huh?
Jesse's already been at work, and I have been up most of the morning with excruciating pain from the lovely,
The Red Lady.
yeah. And so I've had some ibuprofen, some Midol, a half of a garden gummy.
Oh, you're partying.
Yeah.
Yay!
And now we're drinking some Baileys with coffee.
Yay!
Jesse brought home McDonald's. Thank you, boo.
Yay!
And we're having a Bloody Mary.
Yay! With Hal Patter's vodka.
Yeah, Hal Patter's vodka.
Yeah.
Zing Zing Bloody Mary. Some pickled green beans from the St. Augustine Distillery. And our sourdough starter pickle juice.
Or sourdough starter. It's got everything in it. Everything in it. I swear to God, you could run a Buick on that thing.
Everything pickled in
You
our
got a
fridge.
1973 Buick? We can run it with our sourdough starter.
Jalapeno juice, pepperino juice, banana pepper juice,
Yes.
pickle juice.
Yes. It's
Pickled tomato
Yes.
juice, pickled okra juice,
got,
all of it.
it's got all the juices.
And I do recommend, because this Bloody Mary is fire.
It is good.
It's really good.
It is good.
The swizzle stick I made you help me find did the trick.
It helped
I'm
it.
telling you.
It made it mixed
That's
together
what-
way
that's-
better.
That was the trick.
Well, that's awesome. I know. Well, it's all the love that comes into
Oh, yeah.
it, you know? And she's like, why haven't you used all the stuff that I bought you to do these cool drinks with? And I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah,
So
his
later on, we're
bourbon
going to do
smoker.
that. Yeah, the bourbon smoker, and you got me for Christmas.
Yes.
We're going to do brats later.
I was very excited about that gift.
And bourbon.
it's just still sitting there in the box. And
Meet
here
me
it
at
is,
the
we're
B&B.
almost in
The brats and bourbon.
brats and bourbon.
Yeah. What are we talking about? What are we drinking about?
So we're talking about some doomsday shit today.
Doomsday? So is it like the end of the world type shit?
Yeah, and believe it or not, it's really recent. It's more recent than Casey Anthony. Speaking of Casey Anthony, after I made a TikTok with our episode on Casey Anthony with the song of the week from Prophets of Demise, this morning I woke up and in my algorithm was a female. Her TikTok handle is Just Mom's Drink, who was on the cell block with Casey and said that she admitted to her crime.
They need to
to her.
retry her ass.
And, well, they can't. It's double jeopardy. But now, since she has put those TikToks out, she posted follow-up videos where Casey Anthony is after her, suing her.
Of course she should be.
Yeah.
She's trying to keep her shit. She is definitely. I have not met anybody that I've talked to about this. She's definitely guilty.
Oh, yeah. She does have advocators, but they don't say that she did not commit the crime. They think that it was an accidental type thing, or either that George did it.
Somebody in that household killed that baby.
Yes, I do agree.
Yeah.
But I'm
I don't
leaning
know. I
more
don't
towards
know.
her.
I don't know.
Because there was decomposition in that car for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't deny that at all. You cannot deny that. That is insane.
No.
There's no damn way around that. So that happened. Anyhow.
Yes. So if you want to listen to that one, it is episode 22. This is episode 23. You want to cue that intro?
Yeah, we're going to do that. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Wee, 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 wee. That was a lot of woos at the beginning, wasn't it? Woo, 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 woo. You're over there juking. Hang on. Is it the gummy?
Might be.
It's the gummy. Let me get
And the Baileys.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. So yeah, I'm not ready because you told me that this shit was going to be worse than the last one.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not ready.
One more thing I want to talk about from a previous case. We covered Gabby Petito in episode 21.
Yeah.
And her father is starting a series called Faces of the Missing, which will bring awareness to more missing cases that do not get the recognition that they deserve.
Yes. And I'm trying to reach out to people like that as well. Like we can put our content on things just like that to help them out, and if we can share what we got going on, it's just all community networking. Yes.
So if you're new here, this is episode 23. And what we do is we have a drink, talk about true crime, and then plug a band that we are digging and we think you should listen to as well.
Yeah.
And
I found so many cool new bands.
I bet.
I can't wait. I got some cool summer bands coming. Summer! Can't wait.
But we got to get through spring first.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Florida. We'll be in summer like tomorrow.
It's actually cold right now. I had to turn on the heater today.
It's beautiful out right now.
But I mean, I was freezing this morning. Landon was getting on to me yesterday because he woke up. He's like, Mom, it's 65 degrees in the house. But I was having a perimenopause episode and I didn't feel the chill. Today, I felt the chill.
So from now on, when she says perimenopause, I'm just going to be like, Perry.
There you go. So I have a question for you.
Sorry, from Perry.
It's a little different. It's like,
Is that it? I don't know. Whatever. So what was you saying? Sorry.
I have a question for you.
You got a question for me?
What made you feel old this week?
Oh, yeah. What made me feel old this week? This week, I feel old. It's more supplement stuff because I changed what I was doing versus what I'm doing now. Like I'm doing like apple cider vinegar, all the good health stuff and all that. But I got off all the sea moss, shilajit, and I don't know. It's like an energy drop still. I'm just constant. Maybe
you need to stick with the. Well, you do need to take a month off.
Yeah, so
because I have to do that with ashwagandha because they recommend that you take ashwagandha for a month and then take 6 weeks off.
Other than that, there are no ailments or nothing other than just tired old man shit. I mean, no Anthony's or nothing. You want to
hear all mine?
Yeah, go ahead with your entourage. Lindsay has an entourage. Here she goes.
I broke my toe last Saturday, and I have stubbed it 950 billion times since then.
It sucks so bad.
Then, while I'm attempting to work out with a bad toe the other day, my hand tendonitis flared up. So
like mid push up, you're like,
yeah.
And you fell over.
Pretty much. It was like a fainting goat situation with a scream. So I screamed and fainted. Yeah.
I can't even do that. I can't.
Then all the perimenopausal symptoms this week, where I am going to sleep freezing and waking up sweating, and then it was almost that time of the month as well. So I've just been blah. I don't even know how I got through the week. But so yeah,
I feel sorry for you.
Taking about.
I'm so sorry that you're just old.
But you're older than me.
I am older than you.
Just
at least some old ass people, man.
Not even a full year older than me.
No, 40's great. 40's great. I'm not bitching. Is this a chance to bitch about saying that you're old or the segment here? I don't know.
No, I'm just saying it's been a rough week.
It's just been a rough week. Okay.
It was a rough week.
No, I mean, old spectrum. And tired, I guess. That's about me most of the time, though. Hell,
And you know one of the times that I stubbed my toe was so stupid. I was putting on my jeans, and sometimes, females' jeans are a little different. They're a little snugger when you get them on, but they kind of form and fit your body after you get them on. So you have to kick out a little bit. I kicked the bed frame with the bad toe.
Another
I've
one.
never done that
fucking
before.
Another one. Son of a bitch. I broke my toe too, like a month before this.
I know you had like a whole.
I broke two.
String of bruises, and you don't even know how. I kicked the shit
out of the grill. No, I kicked the shit out of the bottom of that grill where that wheel is. Yeah, we're doing brats later. I can't wait. So yeah.
Speaking of grill,
I will not kick the grill. But go ahead, Lindsay. Fire this bitch off.
All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
No, I'm not ready. Okay. But I'm just saying.
You should strap in.
Strap in. Yeah. Here we go.
All right. Lori Cox Yates LaJoya Ryan Vallow-Daybell.
Is that one name?
Yes.
That is one fucking name?
Yes. Was born in June of 1973 to Janice and Barry Cox. She had 2 sisters, Summer and Stacy, and 2 brothers, Adam and Alex.
And every name in the whole damn county for one name.
Well, that will become clear into the story. And Alex, he will become a huge part of the story. But we'll get into him a little later. Her family lived in SoCal, and she grew up in the LDS community.
Oh.
This is the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints.
Latter-day Saints, yeah.
Or also the Mormon Church.
Okay.
Lori was a cheerleader and is what you would kind of call an introverted extrovert, meaning she was quiet unless she knew you and were in her friend group. Her group says that she was funny and loved to make people laugh. She didn't really have a relationship with boys until she was a senior in high school. She took her religion very seriously by attending seminary classes every morning before school.
Wow. So doubling up on...
I've never been that dedicated to anything in my life.
All the Jesus that she ever needed.
She planned on attending Brigham Young University after graduation. This was in 1992, but she does not end up attending. She instead marries her first husband, Nelson Yates, a year after high school in 1992. That marriage dissolved very quickly, and she moves on to husband number 2, William LaJoya, and has a son with that husband named Colby.
Now, didn't Mormons have a bunch of wives or something?
Well, that depended on what chapter you were in, kind of. Yeah. Oh. And it depended on your leader, and because we're going to do a whole Mormon deep dive in the future because there's a lot of true crime involved just in that community alone.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to explain all of that. And one podcast that I'm going to recommend at the end because they explain a little bit more in depth into the Mormon beliefs in this particular
and that was
case.
The created religion basically in the 1800s, right?
Well, that marriage didn't last long either. And in 2001, she is on to husband number 3, Joseph Ryan. And in 2002, Joe and Lori bring their daughter, Tylee Ryan, into the world. Also around this time, I'm guessing she snapped right back after that pregnancy. Lori was in the beauty pageant circuit.
You're beautiful.
She competed in the Miss Texas pageant, but she did lose. And when she was asked about what makes her tick, she says, being a good mom and a hard worker. And she said she was basically a ticking time bomb. Which remember that later on, okay? She was also a contestant on the famous game show, Wheel of Fortune.
Yay.
Can I buy a vowel?
No,
Pat?
you get no vowel. Well, her name has all the vowels.
And she won $17,000.
Wow.
In that competition.
That's cool. Yeah.
Now, apparently, being on this show was a prophecy from God himself. Yes, she told her husband that God told her she would be on the show and would win.
Really?
Now, her and Joe's marriage did not last long after this, and they would divorce in 2004.
Wow, she was a divine being now.
Well, not yet.
Well, might as well be, because God told her to do that and it worked out.
Okay, so I grew up in a lot more church than you did.
Yeah.
And this was a conversation that was just very common, where people would say, God spoke to me about this, God spoke to me about that, God told me this, God told me that.
Yeah, reaching for miracles. Yeah.
If you are not brought up in that, it does sound strange. But to me, it's like, oh, it's another person saying God told him to do something, you know?
Yeah.
Now, a custody battle of Tylee would go on for 12 years.
Wow.
The court order would have specific days that each would have Tylee, and he would have her for 2 weeks over the summer and had to live within 100 miles of each other. So they had been living in Texas, of course. But after the divorce, Lori decides to move to Arizona. So Joe had to move as well. That's part of the divorce agreement. In 2006, Lori moves on to husband number 4 named Charles Vallow.
Damn, she racking them up. Mm-hmm. Get him, girl. Get him, girl.
Now, this one would last for about 10 years.
Okay.
But now they're in Arizona. You know, she's married Charles, and Joe had to move to Arizona as well. But Lori's not meeting her requirements. So Joe files a motion against Lori, saying that she is not meeting the visitation court order, and he does not see Tylee for all of August in 2006.
And he had moved over there so he could be closer to her to help them.
Yeah, he's doing everything.
The co-dad shit.
But hold on, we're gonna
or co-parenting shit. He's already. I feel like he's full dad right now. Go ahead.
So Joe wanted her to be arrested. He wanted her to be arrested, fined, and to pay for his legal fees. Lori says that she would choose death over letting Joe see her daughter because she was saying that Joe was molesting her children.
Really?
And after this, the court does demand that she go under psychiatric evaluation. Even though Colby and Tylee would say that Joe was sexually and physically abusing them.
Really?
It is speculated that Lori planted it in their brain.
Oh.
Now, on one hand,
either way,
if the abuse allegations are true, her saying, I would choose death before letting him see my kids is understandable.
Yeah.
But if they aren't, she's looking like a very unwell person.
Yeah. And planting shit into your kids is abuse as it is, you know? You're planting that image into them, and eventually they'll actually think that that shit's really happening.
Exactly.
That's just as bad. Don't plant shit. Mm-mm. No.
In August 2007, Joe was able to see Tylee again, and he is going to the agreed-upon drop-off spot to return Tylee home. While walking back to his car, Lori's brother, Alex Cox, appears and says, hey, we need to talk. Then Alex pulls out a taser and tases Joe right in the chest twice. A witness intervenes and calls the police. There is a more detailed podcast on this case that I do recommend, done by The Last Podcast on the Left. They have a 4-parter on this case, and they go into a lot of detail about the Cox family, but I'm going to give just a little snippet. Okay. Alex and Lori had a very strange and a bit of a sexual relationship. In fact, the entire Cox family were just a little too touchy-feely with each other.
Oh, so she was just all in that.
Yes, and like I said, I think it's part one. I think it's part one of their 4-part series on this case that they do go into depth into the Cox family. So I do recommend that podcast.
And then she's trying to bestow that same kind of bullshit and drama on her own kids, too.
Yeah.
Because of her past shit.
Yeah, so...
That's what I'm thinking.
But Alex would do anything for Lori. We'll just put it that way, okay? There will be more examples of that to come. Alex would serve 90 days of this because of this incident. And while he was locked up, he would send letters to a friend requesting that they send pictures of Joe because his fellow inmates would love to hang out with him sometime.
Ooh.
Now, remember, there are sexual and physical abuse allegations against a minor child.
It's all over the place.
Yeah. He's threatening Joe.
Right.
Pretty much is what he's wanting to do. And he's doing it beyond the jail. But he was only there for 90 days. I mean, I wouldn't even wrote a letter in 3 months, you know.
No.
I guess 3 months does seem probably like a long time.
In and out. I mean, just be done with it.
Now, Joe would suffer from heart issues from this attack for the rest of his life. But that wouldn't be for very much longer. So fast forward to 2018. Timeline's going to jump back and forth. Just stay with me, okay?
Okay.
So fast forward to 2018, Joe Ryan passes away from I'm doing quotation marks, heart attack. Okay. And his body wasn't discovered until a wellness check was done a week later.
Ooh.
It was actually the neighbor's dog, smelled a foul smell coming from the house, and it was like scratching at the door. So the neighbor was like going to get her dog, and she smelled it too. Right. So she called it in. Lori would refuse to claim the body and didn't tell anyone in his family for a while. His sister Annie would find out over a month later that no one had claimed his body. Now, Annie's relationship with Joe had been strained because she was visiting one day and there was a leak in the roof, and she said Joe just lost his shit. Like, I heard this in an interview.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of fuckery, though.
Yeah. And Joe lost his shit. She thinks it was because he was kind of embarrassed. They had just bought the house and here it was leaking. But it just made her not really want to be around him anymore. So Annie did not have that relationship with Joe anymore. And she really hadn't seen the family since that incident, which was about 10 years prior to this happening. So Annie goes out to visit Tylee because that is her niece,
right.
you know. And of course, Lori is there, and she says Lori was acting very strange. And Lori and Tylee's relationship is strained, and there was just bad vibes all around. See, Lori had become obsessed with the end of times and had become a very unhinged doomsday prepper. And
y'all better be good. Jesus is coming. I ain't shitting you.
And it's all she talks about. She even talks about...
Dude, it's going to happen, isn't it? Wait. This shit ain't happened yet.
She even talked about getting in the car with her kids and driving off a cliff to save them from tribulation.
Now, our whole perspective on that, and Lindsay agrees, it's happened so many times.
Yeah, we think the end of the world has happened
different civilizations, different
several
spots
times
in the world. It's done happened. So if it's going to happen, it probably happened to them in this story. But I don't know yet. So,
well, there's a little interesting thing that'll come up. But like we were talking about the other night, we're watching 1923 right now. And it portrays a lot of what the Native Americans went through under Catholic abuse. And to me, our descendants coming over from Europe and interrupting their whole life was the end of the Native American world as they knew it.
That was their tribulation. They went through it.
Exactly.
It happened for them.
And it's just happened in several different
it happened for the Mayans. It happened for Egyptians. It happened
for Rome.
For Romanians. It happened in Pompeii. It happened in...
the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. It's all happened everywhere. And that was their end of times. It really does.
China.
It is
there
true.
was an end of the world for them.
Yeah, Japan took it over. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, it happened.
And us, when we bombed Japan.
Yeah.
You know?
It was end at that time. Everything changed from then on, right?
Yeah.
There. Yeah. But anyhow.
Like I said, I'm going to repeat what she told Annie. She talked about getting in the car with her kids and driving off the cliff to save them from tribulation. And in my opinion, that's when DCF would have gotten a little tip from me.
Yeah, you don't need kids around you if you think that you're going to commit suicide to go to heaven. Is that what she was thinking? She was
pretty
like,
much.
I don't want to go through tribulation, but if we're close enough with God, we can just go ahead and kill ourselves now.
And we'll be all right.
They got it figured out over there, right? Shit.
She also says to Annie, to her face, even though this is her brother, that the world was better off without Joe in it. Like I said, if the allegations against him were true, maybe I agree, but that was for the court to decide.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the court always does 100% good job.
Fuck no.
We've dealt with situations.
Sons of bitches.
Oh, I know. But I'm just saying, I mean, there was a 12-year custody battle, and you would think that in that time period, it would be determined by them if these allegations were true.
Yeah, if he was a shitty human being, he would have stepped out and been like, wait a minute, I'm gonna wind up getting fucked up in some bullshit that I've done. He would have stepped out. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't have followed and pursued if he was being shitty to them kids. He'd have been like, I better get out because she's going to put me in prison over what's really happened. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't want to go either way on that because as an adult, you know, Colby is still saying that those things were true. But we'll move on from that.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
But human nature is still showing he's pursuing, trying to stay. He ain't trying to just stay with his kids so he can keep doing what he's being accused of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So Annie was horrified over all of this, to say the least, and she cut off all contact again. She was done. So before Joe had expired, he and Lori, you know, they had that long ass custody battle. And well, her current husband, Charles, was also having a custody battle with his ex-wife, Cheryl. They had 2 boys together. And honestly, this just sounds like constant turmoil in both households.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's custody battles just are horrible. We went through it. The judge actually combined both cases so that all could meet in the same day.
Knock it all out with all the family bullshit. Yeah.
And I mean, that's probably smart. It probably saved both sides some money.
A lot of money and a lot of time, yeah.
Right. So Cheryl, she started catching on to Lori's weird end time obsessions about a year into Lori and Charles's marriage. And that was around 2007. And there was even a court order at some point to put cameras in Lori and Charles's residence because of strange behavior. But no footage was ever found to be incriminating from that. Now, Charles owned a successful investment company and was out of town quite a bit. So some of the weekends he was supposed to spend with his kids, he would be out of town, but the kids would stay with Lori. But they would say that she wasn't very involved with them. And this is all while they were still living in Texas before Arizona. Back to when Lori and Charles moved to Arizona, they adopted a son named JJ. JJ belonged to his great niece, and she had been unable to care for him. So his sister Kay, who was the grandmother, did for a while. But JJ had severe autism, and the business her and her husband owned together did not permit them to give JJ the care that he required.
It's tough.
So they asked Charles and Lori if they could care for him because Charles worked, but Lori was a stay-at-home mom. So she had time. She had previously been a hairdresser and she even had like a small one built into her home, but it wasn't a full-time thing. So even if she did have hair to do that day, she was still at home.
Right. A little side hustle.
So they say yes, and they legally adopt him. Now, at this point, everything seems great. JJ fit right in with the family. Colby and Tylee loved him. Like, loved him. And the Vallows got a monthly check for his care, and Charles got him a service dog as well. The Vallows then make the decision to move from Arizona to Hawaii. And everyone, who doesn't love Hawaii?
Yeah, you want to go. I want to go.
Right. So they moved to Kauai.
Okay.
And everyone was thriving. They, along with Charles' investment company, they had a little side business, which was like a juice bar, because who doesn't want to go to a juice bar in Hawaii? And because it's like major tourist attraction. So that was probably banking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. It sounds like they were getting set up, though.
Well, remember I told you that Lori was a devout member of the LDS Church. So when her and Charles got married, he converted from Catholicism to Latter-day Saints.
Latter-day Saints, yeah.
And they did find an LDS church to attend in Hawaii. Now, in 2018, the year that Joe had passed away, they would move back to Arizona because it was just better for them to be there due to Charles' investment company.
Okay.
So they're moving around.
They're moving around. There's a lot of shit turmoil and things going on and just...
Now, this is when Lori's mental health would really become questionable, okay? She tells Charles that she had been reincarnated and had been sent by God to spread the word of the second coming of Christ. You know, that old chestnut, like a million people haven't already said that. And she believed that the end of the world was going to happen on July 22nd, 2020.
See, I know that shit was going to fucking transpire. I know that shit was going to happen. I knew it. And I was calling that shit earlier. I knew it. And I'm fired up now.
Well, what's crazy about the crazy bitch was 2020 was kind of the end of the fucking world.
COVID-19, I blow the breath of God on you. That shit was so funny to me. You can't.
The TikToks were the shit that came out of that. The chick with her lashes. And then what was the other one?
The fucking, the
wig.
The fucking wig. And then he's all like, and this shit's flying, dude.
If you have not seen those, just Google that. But, you know, it was a crazy time. I mean, we had murder hornets, COVID-19, the Tiger King.
Maybe for Latter-day Saints, that was it.
Do you remember?
That was it.
When we all got a stimulus check and we were all simultaneously watching the Tiger King together, as a nation or as a globe.
Yeah, Carol Baskin's that bitch.
Carol Baskins Killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that it didn't happen. What's happening? Carol Baskins. But you know what, Lori? We're still here, girl. We're in 2025. Yeah. We didn't go nowhere. Our world did change.
But, I mean, I want to find out.
But your timeline was off because the world shut down in March and you predicted June, so fuck you, Lori. Okay.
She was off. But now...
And it wasn't actually her prediction.
Her reincarnation... Did her fucking reincarnation do anything good for humanity as far as her religion?
You're about to find out.
Okay.
So she also says that she is one of the 144,000 that will be saved. She told Charles that there was an evil demon living in his body named Ned Schneider.
Ooh, Schneebly. Oh. Ned
Schneebly. That's who I thought of immediately.
You swear to God. You
School
swear.
of Rock. Schneebly.
Not Rob Schneider, but Ned Schneebly.
Both.
Rob.
So the demon had a name, and its name was Ned Schneider.
Ned Schneider.
And she would tell others that she was waiting for a call any day that he would be dead. Now, Jesse, what would you say if I came to you with this?
The power of Christ compels you.
Would you be exercising the shit out of me?
Something. Hang on, let me stir up this Bloody Mary.
I have exercised the demon.
I'm getting off in this Bloody Mary now because we're having some fucking fun right now because there is some bullshit finna happen.
I'm eating one of my pickled green beans.
Well, cheers, Lindsay.
Here's a little AMSR for you guys.
Crunch it. Is that you exercising the Schneider demon there?
Mm-hmm.
This Bloody Mary better exercise something. All right, lady.
But seriously, that's all that, I mean, like, honestly, think about it real hard. If I came to you and said that I was one of the chosen 144,000 to be saved, God had appointed me as a disciple to spread the word of his second coming, and that you were now a demon, what would be your feelings? All jokes aside, like, what would your honest...
I mean, you hit me with a bullshit stick at that moment. I'm going to look at you like you're fucking shot out. I'm going to ask for you to affirm that in some kind of way, because I would want to know why.
Even if we were of the same faith. Even if we were both into church and we're both hearing the same teachings of this shit week after week.
Yeah, but at this moment, I've stepped away from charismatic religion to begin with.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but think like Charles.
Okay, God, why you got to put me there? I don't know how to be there.
Because I don't know. I've been raised that way, and I still think that if somebody approached me with that, I would think that they're a crazy motherfucker.
Bullshit.
Just like Charles did, okay?
Bullshit.
Now, Charles loves...
I mean, you would have just been like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah, no matter what I have ever believed in my life, and I mean, I was raised from a very small child and hearing this same type of shit every week, and I would still look at somebody and probably call help services.
From the age of about 10, you started really seeing that.
I started seeing the other side, like, oh, this is...
bullshit. Oh, yeah. I'm saying you age about 10. You probably fed into it a little
about
bit.
13. There was this, and I'll talk about it some other time. Maybe when we're covering the end of world theories that we have.
What
really broke me to think, this is wild. This is nuts.
And
because it was all I knew.
It's not human to be. Right. You kind of feel like you're being brainwashed a little bit, right? Yeah.
So now Charles, he loved Lori so much, but now he was scared for his life. And he filed for divorce in 2019. Apparently, Lori also told him that she was going to kill him and that angels would dispose of his body and she would get away with it.
You better fucking run, dude. Holy shit. Jesus has got it coming for you. I ain't shitting you.
Now, Lori leaves at this time while they're separated. Give the plant some laughs.
She thinks that she can just kill this dude.
And angels are going to dispose. It gets wilder.
Angels are going to come down from heaven and eat you up and shit you out into a golden leaf of Jesus.
I want that on a t-shirt, okay?
The golden leaf of Jesus?
No, the whole thing. Angels are going to eat you up and shit you out into a golden leaf of Jesus. I want all that on a shirt.
An olive branch. Go ahead.
So...
fucking ate up. with this bullshit. I'm sweating.
All right, we're not halfway done.
I'm so sweating.
Lori leaves to go back to Hawaii at this time, and she tells her friend April that she had met down there when they lived there. She tells April all of the same shit, but she also tells April that she will be one of the 144,000 to be saved as well. That April will.
She knows.
Even though April was also a member of the LDS Church, and she thought that this was quite insane.
It was some bullshit.
Yeah.
Would she be like, wait a minute. God is telling me now.
Girl, I don't know.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Angels are not going to eat you and turn you into people.
Hold on. We have a whole nother side story to get into.
Okay.
So, yeah, let me finish this
Just
part,
like,
and then we'll go.
How do you visualize, though, somebody actually telling you this shit?
Oh, I've heard shit like that my whole life.
Yeah, but I mean, she like pulling. She just like
My
so
family members,
seriously charismatic toward being like, I'm going to pump this into your head and you're going to believe it, right?
Now let's ratchet it back just a little. Nobody that has spewed some bullshit like this in my life has ever said that they were going to kill somebody and have angels dispose of the body. But I have heard a lot of people say that they were chosen. And this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
okay?
I've heard
and I've been hearing about
and they
the
lay
end
their
of time.
hands on you and they put one in the air and they're just like, I'm going to convey this to you.
And then
right
they,
now.
this
is holy.
Shove you so you fall back and like you're slain in the spirit.
Yeah, I want to watch you shake.
Pushed me. Yeah.
In the name of Jesus, bam, and you go to shaking and shit. Yeah, that shit hurt.
All right, so on this visit, April noticed that Tylee was sleeping a lot and she seemed depressed. Now, this was weird because before that, Tylee had just been a very engaged person, but Tylee was a teenager by now, and we all know teenagers go through some weird shit. So we'll put that on the back burner. But why do you think Lori changed so much in the year 2018? Well, I'm going to tell you. Before that, other than the quote from her at the beauty pageant where she was like, I'm kind of like a ticking time bomb. Onlookers and friends would say that she was amazing. Even Colby says that she was an amazing mother. But Colby's grown at this point now. I think he's like 22 and he has already met his wife and got married. But 2018 was a real turning point for Lori. So in 2017, Lori had started reading books by a doomsday author named Chad Daybell. And he lived in Rexburg, Idaho. Chad had a small publishing company and also appeared on several podcasts. Some of these you can't find anymore, and you'll know why later, but So Chad wrote fictional books about the end of days that were loosely based on Mormon religion. He wrote over 25 of these books, and some of them contained his near-death experiences and commuting with people on the other side from his experience as a gravedigger. Now, he was a legal gravedigger, not for some sick reason.
He keeps pushing this whole thing, but as being fictional, right? Or does he
He's
really
not
believe
pushing
in
it as being fictional. The books are listed as fictional.
Because there's no fucking way that this is
Because there's no
real.
evidence to support that it's real.
I got
Correct.
You. I got you. I see a romance coming.
He believed that he could receive visions from beyond the veil. Chad was originally from Utah and was born in 1968. Now, Chad really did have two near-death experiences for real. One was a cliff jump when he was 17, and he claims that when this happened, he jumped into another dimension and saw a different world. Then when he was in his early 20s, he was hit by a large wave in the ocean somewhere in California and almost drowned, upon which he was visited by the ghost of his grandfather who showed him the future. Now, I don't know about you. You probably have as well, but I have had several near-death experiences, and I've never seen any of this shit, but I guess I'm not as special as Chad. Okay.
No.
The Chad.
No. So what it is, though, what I think it is that you're in that dramatic experience and you're trying to get past the drama that it caused you, so you create some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I have almost drowned 4 times alone. Right. That's just that.
But wouldn't that be a cute story if you said that, God came to you and saved you in the middle of that?
But...
Or you just remember what really happened and just be like, well, that was dramatic. I need to fucking pay attention and not try to drown anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
I just
what
wasn't
really
a very
happens.
good swimmer, and I was just determined to become one. And in that, that was very young.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just my first 4 that I can remember.
Does my take make sense, though?
Yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, so that's what people will actually do. They'll just be like, holy shit, this was horrible for me to remember, so I'm going to put something pretty into it.
Well, the only thing that I have from all my near-death experiences is a moment of shock. Like, wow, this is fucking happening.
Right.
And then it was like, once I was okay, it was over with.
Yeah, going through the motions is nowhere near as bad as remembering that could have been the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shock. Like I would almost like freeze in time.
Right.
Each time.
Your fight or flight versus the remembrance of you almost dying is worse. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, because there's quite a few more after that, but those were more innocent ones when I was younger. But like I said, with all of them combined, the most that I can remember is just a feeling of shock.
Yeah.
Like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
Like you're in denial immediately almost. Yeah. After all of this, he pretty much thinks that he has a foot in both this world and the other one and has found that he was changed forever. So Chad was married to a woman named Tammy who he had met at Brigham Young University, and they married in 1990 and had 5 children together. 5.
Wow. Rebuilding God's army, for sure.
Tammy worked at the Parks Department, and Chad had been like I said, he had been a gravedigger, and then he became an author and him and Tammy together created the publishing company. Now, he would go on to predict that there would be an earthquake in Utah, and after that is when a supposed World War III would start, and all that doomsday kind of shit. And even though he wrote fiction, he actually believed his own bullshit.
Okay.
Now, the Daybells had lived in Utah until 2014 when Chad received a vision from God that they should move to Rexburg, Idaho. This was going to be the new Jerusalem. Rexburg, Idaho.
Oh, here we go.
Potato land.
We're gonna rebuild the whole religion here.
All gratin potatoes.
It's my favorite potatoes.
Yeah.
The rotten potatoes.
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead.
So in October, we're back in 2018 now. In October 2018, Lori and Chad met at an LDS conference in St. George, Utah. Lori came with her friend Melanie Gibb. Melanie says that upon Lori and Chad's meeting, that Chad tells Lori that they had been married in a past life.
Oh.
Now, Chad would also say that they were married in several past lives, but Chad had 31 past lives, and Lori was like, oh my God, well, I only have 21. But that's amazing. Like, it was...
They know all that shit.
And
divine beings here.
And so they were both married, and Chad would create what he would call a secret portal into her closet where they could communicate spiritually. But this was actually through burner phones.
Oh.
Okay, Chad.
A little dirt going on in there in the background there. Jesus told us to do this behind our spouses' backs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they weren't doing anything. It was spiritual.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm going to say it again. Listen to the 4-parter from last podcast on the left. Myself personally, I don't have, because I still have an actual full-time job. But the last podcast boys, that is their job. So they have a lot more time for research. And that's why I love listening to theirs, because they're very in-depth. So once again, recommending that. Okay. Moving on. Another thing about Chad is that he thinks that he can judge people on the amount of light or darkness that their spirit contains. So Lori asked Chad to do a judgment or an evaluation on her family to this light and dark scale. So he sent her an email on October 30th containing his evaluation. He rates Tylee as 4.1 dark, or D. D standing for dark.
Okay. And
JJ as a 4.2 L, or light.
So he can look into everybody's soul.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, I'm rolling my eyes so hard right now.
I love these divine beings like this.
If the numbers were within 2s and 3s, they could change sides. But if they were 4 or higher, that means that's where they would stay. That means that they had made a covenant with the light or the darkness, period. So Tylee was on the dark side and would never change. She had now become a fucking Sith Lord. And JJ was a Jedi, okay?
Oh God. If I was a Jedi, I'd be a Samuel Jackson motherfucking Jedi.
Yes. I don't know. You know I'm all about me some Yoda.
He is cool, but I like Samuel Jackson. We need more Samuel Jackson Jedi
I don't know.
shit.
I'd probably be Ewan McGregor. I love him. What is his Obi-Wan. Yeah. I was like, what is his name? Like, I'm not, haven't watched that shit a million times. So Charles, I don't know why she had Charles evaluated because they were getting divorced. Like, why do you care? But Charles was a 3 light and Joe was on the dark side. Joe was now dead. Okay. On December 5th, 2018, Lori and Chad appeared on a podcast called Time to Warrior Up, where they would talk about their end time beliefs and how to prepare for it. I think it was it's like 3 Ps, like Prepared People Podcast or some shit. I don't know. But it's now deleted, and you'll see why.
Had to go away, did it?
So Lori and Chad would basically become leaders of a small doomsday cult after this and would refer to the dark spirits as zombies. And not zombies how we think, not like Night of the Living Dead, The Walking Dead, but more what we consider a possession. But they believed that they were the chosen leaders of the 144,000 souls that would survive the apocalypse. And Alex Cox would be the destroyer.
The destructor.
Well, destroyer.
I know.
But that is what they would call him for real.
Really?
That's no bullshit.
Wow.
So Melanie Gibb says that both Chad and Lori would say that both of their spouses would die in car accidents. Melanie saw the relationship growing between Lori and Chad and just straight up asked Lori, why don't you get divorced, girl? And Lori was like, we can't do that. We're chosen leaders. But in early 2019, Lori would disappear for like 2 months and leave the kids behind. And Charles was worried. And this is around the time that she told Charles that she was chosen. We're back to this time period, okay? That she told Charles she was chosen and that she could talk to the dead and that she was a demon, or he was a demon, excuse me, and all that jazz. She also told Charles that if he got in her way, she would murder him.
In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus, right? Okay. And Charles would come home one day, and like he was, coming from being out of town, and he was trying to get his vehicle and all that, and he discovered that his money and his kids were gone. When police were called, Lori just tells the police that Charles had cheated and lost his temper when being confronted with the allegation.
Oh.
Yeah.
So lying has nothing to do
but
with
Charles, it's on
nothing to do with their religion.
Record.
I can just say it.
It's on police record what Lori told Charles about the whole I will murder you shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Which I don't understand. Isn't that grounds for being like Baker acted?
Yeah.
When you're telling somebody that you're going to murder them.
And every bit of this goes against the whole religion that they're so in love with.
Exactly. Well, kind of. Like, yeah. Mormons are different.
Well, my understanding still it's the same God, though. I mean.
Right. But they're so, oh God, like I said.
They have to rewrite it to make it fit their bullshit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is bullshit.
So, well, she went back down. She goes back and forth to Hawaii a lot, okay? So she stayed with her friend April again and tells April that Charles was already dead because that demon or zombie inside of him, Ned Schneider, had took over.
Oh, so we can just go ahead and whack him now and it won't matter.
So she asked April to join her little end times cult, but she would have to leave her kids behind. And April was like, nah, girl, I'm good. Love you, but no thanks. By the way, Charles had asked for Lori to get mentally evaluated. She did oblige, and she was cleared. Yes.
Really?
So
she wasn't talking that shit while she was getting evaluated.
No, that's what I'm saying.
She was playing the whole different side.
Is very calculated.
The good mom, the perfect woman side. Yeah.
But, he was done, and he was scared for his fucking life. And she had that end date locked down and continued to prepare for it. And this date was given to her by Chad Daybell. What was it, June? What did I say, June 2020?
Yeah.
So we're in 2019, I think, at this point.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So Charles had began to live separately from her, obviously. And on July 19th, 2019, Charles went to Lori's to pick up JJ for school at 7:40 a.m. and was shot dead by Alex the Destroyer Cox.
The Destroyer.
The Destroyer.
I like the Destructor, though, from Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they called him the Destroyer.
Yeah, I know.
Now, Alex called 911 and claims that this was in self-defense. He said they got into a fight over Lori. Supposedly, Tylee came at Charles as well with a baseball bat. Charles took the bat from her and hit Alex in the back of the head. That's when Alex shoots him twice in the chest. JJ had been in Charles's rental car this whole time, and Lori literally walked right past Charles's dead body with Tylee, gets in the rental car, and takes JJ to school like nothing ever happened.
Wow. But he had pulled up with the gun already. So he was ready.
Hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And when she returned, she seemed very chill. She was actually like making jokes with the cops about how, oh my God, we just moved here. I bet the neighbors think we're crazy. Hi, neighbors. Yeah, it's on body cam. And okay, Lori Vallow was a beautiful woman, and the police are just like, you can tell they're giddy over her.
They're
a little bit.
They're
Googling.
Yeah,
because I mean, this is the second time already. Lori's had, or third, because they had to put cameras in her house.
Right.
Joe died.
Yeah, and that's shady.
And now Charles is dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
So she would tell police that her and Tylee heard the gunshot but didn't see it. And Alex did not face charges for this.
Really?
Yeah.
Just had him on lock.
So Lori reaches out to Charles' sons about the death of their father through text message. And never did tell them that it was by the hands of her own brother. I think she told Colby, her son, that it was by heart attack. That he just dropped dead, heart attack, right in their fucking driveway. And then Colby shows up because he's, concerned for his brother and sister, and gets there and then finds out that it was actually Alex in self-defense. Yeah.
But it wasn't self-defense. He had the gun ready.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Lori was anticipating $1 million life insurance payout from Charles's death, but to her dismay, she would find out that he had changed his beneficiary to Kate, his sister, the grandmother of JJ.
Yeah, good.
On July 22nd, Lori either returns JJ's service dog or posts it for sale on Facebook. I've heard both. But basically she was saying he didn't need it anymore, and he wasn't that attached anyway. A 7-year-old autistic kid isn't attached to a dog.
That's his world. That is his world, yeah, for sure.
Period. It could have been a lizard. It could have been anything.
Exactly.
And that child would have been absolutely attached. So then Lori takes the fam and moves to Rexburg, Idaho, also taking Alex the Destroyer with her. And
they're going for potatoes. They're going for potatoes.
Chad had told her that Potato Land was going to be the new Jerusalem. I'm sorry, Idaho. We love you, and we love your potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Chad Daybell is from your area. I apologize.
That's where all the McDonald's fries come from.
And the au gratin potatoes.
We love McDonald's fries and au gratin potatoes.
Yes. Now, when they get to Rexburg, JJ would be enrolled in school, but not Tylee, because she had supposedly already been homeschooling Tylee. And Tylee was 16 or 17 at the time, but JJ, he was only 7, okay? JJ was 7.
Wow.
And Tylee would last be seen on September 8th, 2019, at the entrance of Yellowstone National Park. Remember that. Lori, JJ, Alex, and Tylee had all went that day. There is a picture of that. And that is the last picture and the last known appearance of Tylee. Meanwhile, on that same day, Chad is upping Tammy's life insurance policy to the max. On September 22nd, Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick were visiting Lori and his family, and David saw Alex carrying JJ into the apartment. When he asked to see JJ the next morning, Lori says he's being a zombie right now, and Alex had to take him away. On September 24th, Lori contacts JJ's school and said that she was withdrawing him to do homeschooling. The next week, Lori gets some rings off of Amazon and buys a wedding dress. She would later say that these were for Alex and his soon-to-be wife, but Whatever, Lori. And this purchase was made with Charles's Amazon account.
Oh.
Charles is now no longer with us.
No longer. She's using the money. Yeah.
On October 1st, Lori gets a storage unit, and Alex and her are seen visiting this unit at least 9 times. On October 9th, Tammy Daybell calls to report that someone had shot at her with a paintball gun wearing a ski mask, and she posts about this on Facebook, like for her neighbors to be on the lookout. 10 days later, on October 19th, Tammy Daybell dies suddenly in her sleep. Chad says that he woke up to her coughing, throwing up, and then she fell out of bed at some point. When it was time to wake up for the day, she was gone.
What?
No longer on this earth.
And they had set it up. It's like they were getting everything prepared.
Well, the coroner says that it was natural causes, so no autopsy was done. Okay? Mm-hmm. Before all this, she had been a very healthy woman. Now, Chad told his friend Julie Rowe, who worked for him down at the publishing company, that he would not, it was like 3 weeks before Tammy died, that he would not be able to move forward with his plan until Tammy was dead. Y'all.
Line it up.
Why? If somebody comes to you and mentions death in a sentence, no matter what they're talking about, get somebody involved.
Yeah, at least document it. You know,
yes.
Just like, hey, I'm going to tell about at least 3 or 4 people about this because this needs to be documented. Write this down right now, and I want to report. Just common sense.
You know, I was listening to a morbid podcast, and this was not even related to this case. It was on a whole other case. But Elena on that podcast said that her father always told her that if someone you know is showing you red flags in some type of situation, write it down.
And also, if they're not doing it in anger, if they're just talking in common just conversation, definitely watch out.
Just a little more than 2 weeks later, on November 5th, 2019, Lori and Chad together go to Hawaii and get married.
I know it was going to happen, Lindsay. I knowed it. It was divine.
Yes.
It was brought to us
and I have
from
to
the
tell
past.
you, like, Chad is the most humperdink looking motherfucker I have ever seen in my life. And then there was some people who were like...
Engelbert.
Then there are some people like, well, you know, he was just charismatic and he just swept Lori off of his feet. But then... there are other people that say that they listen to some of the recordings that he had on the podcast, and he's just very humdrum, nothing. They don't understand how this guy put Lori under such a spell to do the unspeakable things that she would go on to do.
Oh, they were married in the past, remember?
It's fucking wild,
There's
bro.
21 past lives.
Now, during this time, Kate, JJ's grandmother, hadn't been able to get a hold of Lori to talk to JJ. Because remember, she originally wanted to care for him. The business wouldn't allow enough attention from her to be able to care for JJ, but she was in constant contact with Lori. So she calls for a welfare check. She's like, why the fuck isn't she answering the phone? Why haven't I seen or talked to my grandson? Colby, Lori's oldest son, had been trying to get a hold of Tylee. And all he would get back were texts from her that just weren't in her normal text pattern. Because we know a person's text pattern. Somebody that we've been texting for a long time, we know their text pattern. So if it's off, I'm going to be suspicious.
Yeah.
That's just like one of my sons would, contact me a lot through Facebook Messenger. And then one day I'm at work. And I'm in the break room for a minute. I had some time. I'm getting a drink. And I seen that he has given me or sent me some messages. And they just didn't seem like him.
Yeah, it wasn't him at all.
And I was like, I'm sorry, but this just doesn't sound like my son. And next thing I get is a bunch of weird, cryptic, sexual messages from this person that is pretending to be my son. I report it and block immediately.
Right.
So then I contact the phone number that I have for my son and be like, hey, your Facebook's been hacked. And I told him exactly what happened. He's like, oh my God, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, it's not your fault. But I noticed that the text pattern was not his. So Tylee wouldn't answer his phone calls, and he reaches out to Lori, and Lori would make all kind of excuses by saying like, oh, she's super busy. Then he would reach out to Tylee again, and he would get a text back that was like, sorry, I'm just super busy. Mm-hmm. So it's more Lori style, not Tylee style.
Right.
Okay. Also, we got another little side story here. Also at this time, Lori's niece, who is also named Melanie, not Melanie Gibb, had been going through a divorce and a custody battle of her own. She quickly remarried and moved to Rexburg, the New Jerusalem. In Arizona, Melanie's now ex-husband Brandon was pulling into his driveway, and someone driving a Jeep shot at him and then peeled off.
Wow.
This Jeep was registered in Charles Vallow's name, and it had belonged to Tylee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's so many players in this game right here,
There is
okay?
a lot of shit twisted up here.
Right. So Brandon tells police that he was certain that the shooter was Alex the Destroyer.
The Destroyer. I'll keep wanting to say Destructor on this game. I just want
No,
to
they
say,
called him, I know.
I know, but okay. At least he's not Alex the Terrible.
So Chad and Lori, the newlyweds, they're back in Rexburg from Hawaii, and the police arrived to do that well check on JJ per Kate's request. Lori wasn't home, but Chad and Alex were there. The police asked where JJ was, and Alex said he's at his grandma's house in Louisiana. And the police were like, well, you know, that's kind of strange because she's the one who requested this well check on him.
Yeah. Yep.
So Alex and Chad said, hey, Lori's at an apartment nearby. Why don't you go over and talk to her? And at this time, the police actually call for backup. They're starting to get really suspicious about what's going on here.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Okay. So when Lori was questioned, she was like, oh my goodness, nothing to worry about here. JJ is staying with my friend Melanie Gibb in Arizona. She offered to call Melanie for them. Melanie didn't answer. So Lori follows up with, you know what? They're probably at the movies seeing Frozen 2.
Oh.
Yeah. That's how recent this is. That's when Frozen 2 one came out.
2.
Yeah. So the officers tell her to please call them when they do get in touch with Melanie so they can talk to JJ and Melanie and resolve this well check, okay? So Chad and Lori then call Melanie and leave her a message saying, hey, quick favor. If the police call you, will you please tell them that you have JJ? And the police do get in touch with Melanie. And at first she went along with the story, but then finally told him, JJ's not here and I don't know where he is. When Melanie calls Lori to ask why she was being brought into this lie, Lori says, well, I don't want them to know where JJ actually is. But why?
Yeah.
So Lori assured her that JJ was safe and happy. Lori and Chad actually make Melanie feel bad for questioning them.
Really?
Yeah, in true narcissistic manner. Yeah.
How dare you make me make you feel bad?
I'm sorry you made me yell at you.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines in a show thus far. Vice principals, watch it.
The most
narcissistic thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So it also comes to light now, Tylee hasn't been seen either. And Tylee hasn't been seen since September 8th. We're now in December, okay? So by December 20th, Tylee and JJ were officially declared missing. Investigators start combing through emails, text messages, and Lori's iCloud account. This also brought to light that Tammy Daybell's death may be suspicious, And then her body was exhumed and sent for an autopsy, which was previously denied.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
And
Flip
she
it.
had actually died from asphyxiation.
Ah,
Not
here
natural
it is.
causes.
I knew it. I knew you were flipping me some shit right there. And then now here it is.
All right, so that was on December 20th when they were declared missing. So we're going to go back a little bit. On December 12th, Alex the Destroyer was found dead in his home. How many people we got dead now?
There's like fucking 2,527.
We got Joe, Charles, Tammy, and now Alex.
Yeah.
He was found to have blood clots in his lungs. And this was supposedly a genetic disease or disorder or, it was genetics.
No, they pumped him with something.
Prior to his death, he had told his new wife, and this is on an affidavit, that he felt he was going to take the fall for Lori and Chad's transgressions. Then they re-examined Joe Ryan, but it was still determined that his death was from natural causes. I don't know what they did here.
I don't know what the fuck.
It's still not known. Okay, so now back to the kids when they were declared missing. Lori and Chad are now declared suspects in the disappearance. So Lori and Chad now back in Hawaii once again. They've married, returned. Now they're back.
And the love.
Yes.
And the bonds of Jesus.
They refuse to cooperate with police. Period.
This is some serial killer shit to me.
There is a warrant issued on January 3rd, 2020 to confiscate potential evidence from Chad's home in Rexburg. On January 25th, Lori was told that she must produce her children by January 30th or she would be arrested. And she did not do this. And I don't know why she was given those 5 extra days, but she was actually given a lot more extra days.
Where the hell them kid?
But the 5 days came and went and no kids.
Nothing?
Yeah. In February, her storage unit in Idaho was searched. On February 20th, so this is a whole nother month, pretty much, is when Lori was officially arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of desertion, non-support to dependent children, obstruction of justice, solicitation to commit a crime, and suspicion of murder.
Right.
Her bond was set at $1 million, and she had not yet said where her children were. Colby, her oldest son, is calling her, begging her to tell him, but all she will say is they are safe and happy.
Shit on that.
Alex's phone records were subpoenaed, and they were able to track his movements prior to his death. On September 9th, this was back in 2019, he had been in Chad's backyard for 2.5 hours. 14 minutes after Alex left, Chad sent a text to Tammy. This was before her death. And the text said, "Well, I have had an interesting morning. I felt that I should burn all the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking the wall. I got close enough that one shot did the trick, and now he is in our pet cemetery."
Oh, Lindsay.
That's quite a wordy text.
Yeah, he had to explain
A
every
non-suspicious
move.
person would have just been like, you know what? I shot a raccoon.
Yeah, I would have said, I don't know
even
what I
know.
would have said.
None of our
To
texts
try
are
to cover that
wordy.
up, I can't figure out how to word that into hiding the disturbed earth.
Well, we
that
don't think like that. Yeah.
the kids are in. I don't know if they're there yet, but Jesus, they're probably there.
All right. So
Here it comes.
that was February. Okay.
I'm taking
so
a drink. I'm taking
take
a
a drink.
God.
But I just want to bring to light that all happened in February. Now we're in June 9th, 2020. The kids are still missing. I watched this in real time unfold.
Really?
Well, I was home a lot.
Wow. Yeah, COVID.
Yeah. The detectives and FBI come to Chad's property with a search warrant and search dogs to search his backyard after they found this text message. Lori calls from jail at this same time, and Chad lets her know that the yard is being searched. He then tried to leave, but was obviously detained. And they found 2 sets of human remains in shallow graves in his backyard.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. Sons of bitches.
I know, I'm clouding up.
Sons of bitches.
Okay. Chad was immediately arrested and charged with concealment, distribution, and alteration of evidence. Law enforcement knew right away that one set of these remains were JJ's because he was wearing the same pajamas that he had last been seen wearing on a photo of him found on Lori's iCloud account.
Oh, God, Lindsay.
7 years old.
Little babies.
And that was from September. That photo had been taken on September 22nd. We're in June of 2020.
Them kids are just locked up somewhere until then, wasn't they?
Yeah. JJ had been bound with duct tape and had duct tape around his mouth and a plastic bag over his head, which had also been sealed with duct tape. And his cause of death was asphyxiation.
Them fucking poor babies. Them babies, man. I cannot believe that.
The next one's worse. The other set of remains were later determined to be Tylee. She had been dismembered and burned.
What the fuck, Lindsay?
So that raccoon that Chad was talking about?
Was cheering. Mm-hmm. Them 2 babies. And cut up one, asphyxiated the other, who knows what else.
So the cause of her death was not determined, but was ruled as homicide. Her DNA was later found on a pickaxe in Chad's shed.
Oh my God.
And Alex's DNA had been found everywhere. It was everywhere. So now Chad and Lori are both locked up and indicted on the murders of both Tylee and JJ. Chad was also being tried for the murder of Tammy Daybell and Lori for the conspiracy to murder Charles Vallow. Lori went to trial in April of 2023. Oh, and by the way, girl, the end of the world didn't happen because we're still here.
Oh, yeah.
So she went on for the murder of Tylee and JJ, and she pleaded not guilty.
No, Jesus told her to do it, so she
Right?
ain't guilty as shit.
The prosecution basically said that this woman would do anything to get what she wanted, and what she wanted was to be kid-free with Chad Daybell. Like, there was a point in their little, spur-of-the-moment marriage there where they were like, they called each other empty nesters.
Oh, so they just wanted them, selfish them, divine entities together.
Because they were the chosen
At last.
leaders of the last 144,000.
Yeah, the leaders.
Yes. So
Fucking great leadership.
there was a plethora of text messages sent between Chad and Lori planning all this out for a while. And they were using their weird light and dark codes. And the name Hillary was given for the zombie that possessed Tylee. Remember Ned Schneider
Ned Schneider, Schneebly.
was the one that possessed Charles. And now Hillary was the one that possessed Tylee.
What the fuck, Lindsay? I'm upset. Dude.
I know.
I feel like I'm gonna.
So
that is really bad. This is horrible to use. How do you mix religion in this? How do you do it? What? Then it's not a religion. It's an excuse,
on May 12th, 2023, only after 7 hours of deliberation, the jury unanimously found Lori guilty on all charges of murder and conspiracy.
Thank you.
Now, this was her statement.
I want to say this because it's in my head. There will come a payday. There will come a payday. There will come a payday someday.
Someday.
There will come a payday. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And there will come a payday someday. Sorry.
Righteous Gemstones. Watch it. Max. ASAP. All right. So this was her statement before being sentenced. Okay. I'm going to read it in my best
Before you
Lori
do that,
voice.
this is my realization of calloused.
I know.
Am I there? Am I there now? Because you just said that crazy shit that I'm really fucking upset about right now. And then I just flipped some shit like that. Did I just do that?
You're getting there.
Oh, I feel like I'm getting calloused a little bit.
I mean, as you can see, I'm calloused, but some of them just fucking.
You were crying
me down.
a minute ago.
I know.
But like, I mean, I'm really upset about it. I really am. But now being able to switch to some bullshit to laugh, why? I'm not. You're kind of fucking me up. I mean, we're 23 episodes in now. You're fucking me up though, but still, like, I feel like there's right now it kind of clicked into calloused right now. Like,
I know.
It's so fucking horrible though. Them poor babies, and then fucking using. I mean, but it's a bunch of bullshit to begin with. So I'm biting on a turd sandwich the whole time.
So I'm going to read Lori's statement in the best Lori voice that I can muster.
Oh, do it. I want to hear it.
I would like to start by quoting John from the New Testament in the Bible. In John chapter 8, verse 7, Jesus says, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." Then in the first verse of chapter 15, Jesus says, "Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true." Jesus knows me, and Jesus understands me. I mourn with all of you who mourn my children and Tammy. Accidental deaths happen. Suicides happen. Fatal side effects from medications happen. We're gonna dive into that deeper in just a second. I have a different perspective in life because in 2002, I was pregnant with Tylee. I died in the hospital while in labor with her. They tried to stop my labor. They put me on the table and they put something in my IV, and I felt my spirit falling to the floor. I was standing near my pregnant body, watching the doctors try to revive me, which took them a few minutes. In that time, my sister Stacy was standing to my left. I turned to hug her and was surprised that her spirit was tangible as a physical body because I knew I was in spirit and she was in spirit. She said she needed to show me some things, and we went to heaven. I later returned to my body. Because of this experience, I have access to heaven and the spirit world. Since then, I have had many communications from people now living in heaven, including my children, Tylee Ashland and Joshua Jackson, my sisters Stacy and Lolly, my aunts and my uncles and my grandparents. I have had many communications with Jesus Christ, the Savior of this world, and our heavenly parents. Many angelic visitors have come and communicated with me and even manifested themselves to me. Because of these communications, I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world. Because of my communications with my friend Tammy Daybell, I know that she is also very happy and extremely busy. I have always mourned the loss of my loved ones, and I have lost many in this mortal world. However, I know them more than most people. I know where they are now and what they are doing. I know how wonderful heaven is, and I am homesick for it every single day. I know we all lived in heaven before we were on earth, and we were all adult spirits in the heavenly realm and chose to come to earth as mortals. I did not want to return to my body when I was out of it, even though my son Colby, who I adored more than anything, was only 6 years old at the time, and I was about to give birth to his new baby girl that I wanted so badly. I was a young mother and would think I wouldn't have to leave my children, but as soon as I stood in heaven, I did not want to go back. I thought they would be fine without me because I was peaceful and I was happy and I was home. But then I was told by Jesus that I needed to go back and complete the things that I had covenanted or promised to do before I was born.
That's a 7 deadly sin, but yeah. Covenant.
Not coveting, but covenanted. She had a covenant.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
This caused me a lot of distress because I knew heaven was my real home and I only wanted to be there. I was free from pain and emotionally and physically. Then I was shown how I could help my children and others in the future. So ultimately, I did agree to go back to my body. Tylee suffered horrible physical pain her whole life. Side note, she did have pancreatitis when she was younger, but it did seem to have healed before her death.
You know how bad I would be wanting to fight you right now if you were saying some shit like that in real earnest.
This is in court.
Fucking, I would be wanting to fight you if you were saying that, trying to justify taking lives, because I know better that we're all going to heaven and we're just spirits, so life on earth doesn't matter, so I can just take it whenever I want to, right? If that's what she's trying to say right there. She's trying to justify all of that don't really matter because we're all going to heaven and I know they're spirits, so we're all just going to hug and hang out later on after I killed you, right?
All right, I'm getting back into character.
Go ahead. It's fuck.
I sat with Tylee in the hospital year after year while she screamed in pain. When the morphine wasn't enough to take away the pain of her pancreatitis, I sat there while she cried and I held back her hair while she threw up. And I am the only person on this earth who knows how much Tylee suffered in her life. She had pain every single day. She never felt good. Her body did not work right. And I don't know if that was from complications from me dying while she was being born or something else. But she had a very difficult life. She was sexually abused by her own biological father since she was 3 years old, and she was forced by family court to go visit him for 10 years against her will. I fought for her in court. I protected her. I tried to protect her my whole life. I tried to protect her. I worried about her every single day. Tylee had to get her GED because she could not go to school every day because she never felt good. She felt sick. Nobody knows this because Tylee, like myself, tries to put on a good front, tries to be a happy person, tries to have a hope in life, tries to know that she's here for a purpose and that she has an eternal purpose to be on this earth. But I never stopped worrying about her. One of these times that Tylee came to me as a spirit after she died, she said, she commanded me. And she said to me, "Stop worrying, Mom. We are fine." She knows how I worry and how I miss her. The first time JJ visited me after he passed away, he put his arm around me and he said to me, "You didn't do anything wrong, Mom. I love you. And I know you loved me every minute of my life." Joshua JJ Jackson was an adult spirit. He was very, very tall when he put his arm around me. He is busy. He is engaged. He has jobs that he does there, and he is happy where he is. His life was short, but JJ's life was meaningful. JJ was a wonderful person and touched the lives of everyone, and I adored him every minute of his life. My eternal friend, Tammy Daybell, has visited me on several occasions. She came to bring me peace and comfort, and I know that she is extremely busy helping her family, especially her children and grandchildren, and I have a great love for Tammy. My beautiful children, Tylee, Ashlyn, and Joshua Jackson, rest safely this day in the arms of Jesus. My wonderful friend Tammy Daybell rests safely this day in the arms of Jesus, and I look forward to the day when we are all reunited, and I too will rest in the arms of my Jesus. She said that in court.
You know how bad I want to drop kick you for even saying that shit? I mean, I know you're not her.
No.
But just how in the fuck is somebody justifying all of this and then saying, "Oh, our kids came to me and they're just fine with me hacking them up.
Yeah.
They're just fine
Everybody
with me stabbing them with a fucking pickaxe. And they're just fine with them fucking choking me out with a bag over my head. They're just fine with that in the eyes of the Lord."
Well, that whole plethora of bullshit that she spilled did not help her because she was sentenced to 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Good.
Now, her only surviving son, Colby, he has had a really hard time. He's lost his siblings and so many others around him.
Yeah.
Now, he has a YouTube channel and a podcast called Scar Wars.
Wow.
Yes. I'm gonna get teary because I watched some of it.
Yeah.
Now, it's the Scar Wars podcast.
Okay.
So if you want to look him up on either, I do suggest that because this is his healing journey.
You may not want to tell me this, but I want to know right now, am I still paying taxes for this bitch to be alive?
Yes.
Fuck.
Colby actually interviews his own mother for his podcast, and he is begging her to please say what happened. And this is what this bitch tells him, okay? She says that Tylee accidentally smothered JJ and then took her own life.
With a pickaxe and cut herself up. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. No.
Now, first of all, bitch, how dare you? And second of all, that is not forensically or evidentiary possible.
No.
It's not.
Fuck no.
Colby does turn to the camera after he's done with this interview and assures his listeners that this is not true. He completely knows that his mother is very mentally ill. Now, Chad's children believe that he is completely innocent and was set up by Lori and Alex. All five of them. All five of his kids. On June 21st of 2024, Chad Daybell was sentenced to death for the murder in the first and conspiracy to the murder of Tammy, JJ, and Tylee. Lori's conspiracy trial is set to be held on March 31st this year, so not too far away from now.
So we're going to have some stuff
We'll have a little
on.
recap later on. And she will be representing herself.
Wow.
I watched a Jailhouse interview, which I would like for you to watch with me a little later. It's only about an hour. With her and the best in the biz, Keith Morrison.
Really?
Yes.
All right, yeah. She
still believes all her bullshit and that her and Chad will be exonerated.
Really?
Completely believes that.
So, I mean, I have to work to put these. I mean, is that sound conceited of me to be pissed off or whatever?
No.
I have to work. And they take my money to facilitate this bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And Chad will probably be on death row for a long time.
Exactly.
And Lori will be there the rest of her life.
Drag this shit out for the next 20 years. And then, oh, man. You know, I'm not trying to just plug, you know. But if you're hands down, I'm sorry. If you don't like it or whatever, if you're hands down a fucking tyrant and you kill other people and there's no way around it, no way of getting out of it, it's completely proven, why do I have to keep working to pay for that? Does that make sense?
Right. Because, as I'm going to go back to the West Memphis 3, there was a lot of reasonable doubt there. There was nothing connecting them to these murders. Everything is connecting Chad Daybell and Lori and her 9 last names.
Everything. And what a stain on the religion. What a stain on, like, you know, everything. Just,
well,
it's
fortunately,
horrible.
everybody
horrible.
around
There's
them
no credibility.
Everybody around them has testified against them, other than Chad's children.
Yeah.
So everybody else that was involved, like Melanie Gibb, I mean, yeah, she was irresponsible completely. And I put a lot of, I don't know if I want to say blame, but I put a lot of responsibility on her because she knew from a long time ago that there was something off. There was something wrong.
Definitely something ain't right. Yeah. And they were they were using this to justify a fling that turned into something that they were just saying too much crazy shit. I don't know. They're both just shot the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, hands down, shot the fuck out. Use religion on top of their selfish fucking empty nest theory that, you know, and whatever else they could pull in.
Their kids were zombies. Okay?
Yeah, they were zombies, so they were good.
Chad's kids were fine.
Yeah,
there was nothing wrong with Chad's kids.
Oh, well, it's his
It was
kids.
just Lori.
Yeah. Well, that was part of his what'd you Humperdinck deal?
Oh my God, he is the biggest Humperdinck.
Don't show him to me. So is this it? Is this all of it?
That'll complete our coverage. We'll give an update when Lori's conspiracy theory trial is over, or conspiracy to murder.
I'm gonna go ahead and just slip this in because I mean, I'm not really happy about this at all.
Yeah. This was a rough one.
Yeah.
That's why I say, I mean, like...
But thank you for making me be addicted to this bullshit, Lindsay.
Casey Anthony's was horrible, and she's still the most hated mom, but Lori Vallow, she's number one
up
for
there,
me
huh? The
right
women
now.
be doing the work.
Don't you dare.
I dared. That's horrible. Can I play music yet or no?
You can't put sick women in the same
No,
category.
I'm not. I'm just
women.
making it, I'm not. I'm kidding over here.
But I mean, like I said,
good women are good women.
She showed horrible little bit of craziness, but 2018 when she met Chad was when she really flipped the script.
Yeah, snapped. And just tried to use religion to make it all, justified, I guess, in her own mind. Fucked up. Can I play music yet?
Yes, you can plug your band. Who are we listening to today?
So back in the day, I did a collaboration album with my band and a few other amazing bands. And I want to talk about one of the bands that was in the collaboration album. So we took in, I think it was like 8 different bands. And one of the bands was called Sister Sandos.
Okay, I remember them.
Yeah. So I've been talking to Becky back and forth whenever we started all this. She is the front lady of this group, and they're amazing, and I want to share them. And one of these days, we're probably going to have Becky down here, and we're going to talk about some things that's happened in her area.
Okay.
So wouldn't that be cool?
Yes.
So I want to play some Sister Sandos.
Guest star.
Yeah, for sure. So y'all check Sister Sandos out. This song is called Runaway.
Try to find a way to undo the things I have to go through, never again. Try to find a way to undo the things I have to go through, never again. Try to find a way to undo the things I have to go through, oh, never again. Try to find a way to undo these things I have to go through, never again. Never again.
love it.
So much. So
I love
they remind me a little bit of Garbage.
Garbage-ish, yeah.
A little bit of Silver Sun Pickups.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Flyleaf.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And I love it.
Like I pictured all three bands. Like
So
yeah.
awesome. So awesome. It
Great
was Kurt,
job, Sister
Kurt that sent
Sandos.
them my way a few years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love them. They're amazing. And I want to see
Good
her
job,
down here.
Becky.
Yeah.
Come on the cast.
Yeah, come on down. Come on down, hang
Yes.
out.
What we can do is we can send her like my upcoming case lineup and see which one she wants to join on.
No, she has some cool stuff.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we'll
she
let's
has
let
some
her
cool
do
stuff.
stuff and we'll be the listeners.
That would
Shit.
be awesome,
Yeah.
Becky.
Yeah.
Come
Give me a
run
break.
this. Come
Yeah.
run this. You're going to be in my seat with me, Lindsay.
Yes.
So that's the deal. That's the deal, Becky. Now we shared your band.
Mm-hmm.
You got to come down
And we're going to be the listeners.
and you run this.
We're going to react.
We should do that.
Yep,
a lot
I'm about
more.
that.
Yeah,
100%.
all about that. So we're gonna let this ride on. Y'all check out Sister Sandos in the Georgia, North Florida area, everything like that, because they're in I think Macon, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So check them out. Follow them. And,
Follow us.
Follow all the bands. Follow us. DrinkaboutSomething.site.
And we're on Instagram, YouTube. We got a Gmail.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yes.
Do the whole thing. You know, might as well.
Send
If you
us an
enjoying it.
email if
I
you
know,
have
that's
case
what I want.
requests.
I love the feedback.
Yes.
I really do.
Send us an email.
Yeah.
We would love to take your recommendation.
Yep. And I'm working out so many cool things, so many cool bands, and we're probably going to be doing maybe some remote stuff. Definitely Rockville. Mm-hmm. So sharing all the bands, all the stuff, and the old shitty content that Lindsay comes up with.
Yeah, we have less than 2 months till Rockville.
Yeah, I'm so ready.
I know.
So ready. But we're going to fly. I'm going to cook some brats over here, and we're going to have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sooner. Maybe even Wednesday, but I'm not
No,
sure yet.
next one. Next one's going to be two pata
Two Polta.
that we will deliver to you on Friday and Wednesday.
So, yeah. So, see you next Friday.
Bye.